Welcome back, dickheads. We are going to be watching every vault in the Fallout series explained. A lot of people wanted me to watch the Fallout vaults explained, so that's what I'm doing right now. Thank you again for the recommendation in the Discord server that you can join by clicking the link in the description, so I appreciate it. Let's get started.
2054, the United States
That's so quiet. 1 second.
government was faced with the reality that atomic warfare was inevitable. Oil was becoming increasingly rare, the United Nations had collapsed 2 years prior, and a nuclear exchange had recently erupted in the Middle East, making it the first time atomic weapons were used on a civilian population in over a century. This would lead to a secretive group comprised of high-ranking government officials known as the Enclave to devise a plan to preserve themselves. And thus, Project Safehouse was born. Billions of dollars would be commissioned to a company known as Vault-Tec to construct 122 underground nuclear shelters, known as vaults, in order to supposedly shelter the United States population from impending doom.
I love the artwork. I love how it's like super retro. I fuck with that heavy.
However, its true purpose was to conduct a series of inhumane experiments on the population of each vault in order to gather enough data for the Enclave to colonize another planet. When the bombs dropped on October 23rd, 2077, in what is known as the Great War.
2077? Oh, dude. I love the mix of like future technology and then retroness. I think that's such a cool combo. We got 1 year. Yeah, pretty much.
The vaults were sealed, thus beginning 122 stories which the Fallout series has been uncovering since its inception. While not every vault has been explored over the course of this franchise, there are still quite a few that have been given rich and interesting stories for us to discover in our journeys throughout the wasteland.
Wait, so there's still vaults that people don't know shit about? 50s TV style is iconic. It really is. I love it. I love it. I haven't played the games, but I might do that. Who knows?
So without further ado, here is every vault in the Fallout canon. Before this video starts, here are some terms you may need to know to better understand the lore behind these vaults. If you already know these terms, then skip ahead to this timestamp.
I don't know the terms, so I won't be skipping ahead. But if you guys know, feel free to skip ahead. I just won't be doing that. No, I haven't seen the show either. I don't know anything about Fallout. I've seen clips, but that's about it.
FEV, or the Forced Evolutionary Virus, was an experiment engineered before the Great War by the US government. It was designed to accelerate evolution in human subjects in order to make them more effective soldiers, but instead, it caused devastating mutations to those exposed to it, giving rise to creatures like super mutants and other mutated horrors like centaurs or nightkin. In the Fallout universe, chems refer to drugs. They're everywhere in the post-war world, ranging from old medical pills to homemade substances that often lead to addiction. Chems such as Mentats, Buffout, Med-X, and Jet are just some of the substances found throughout the wasteland. Synths, short for synthetic humanoids, is a common term used to refer to the robotic beings created by the mysterious faction known as the Institute. While Generation 1 and 2 synths are entirely mechanical by design, utilizing simplistic artificial intelligence, Generation 3 synths are nearly indistinguishable from humans, right down to their DNA. Generation 3 synths in particular.
Wait, that's so sick. That's so fucking sick. Do they know that they're synth, or are they just like not aware? I'd assume they're aware, but if they're not, that would add a level of like swagginess to it. Some don't. Wait, that's sick. Are you kidding? Time to watch it in the Discord. Is the show on Netflix at all? Because you said it's a show, right? Is it on Netflix or something? Most do. Depends on their task. Oh, it's on Prime? Dude, I thought it was just like a game. That's what I thought it was. No, that's so sick. What the hell?
Are frequently sent to abduct and replace residents of the Commonwealth in order for the Institute to spy on the residents of the wasteland. The GEC, or Garden of Eden Creation Kit, is a device designed to restore a selected area destroyed by nuclear fallout into a habitable environment capable of growing food and purifying water. Each vault was issued 2 GECs, so that when the population left the vaults, they could use it to create a sustainable society in the wasteland. Ghouls, radroaches, mirelurks, radscorpions, glowing ones, deathclaws, and the Scorched are some of the creatures I'll be mentioning in this video, all of whom have been transformed and mutated by radiation into their current form. The Brotherhood of Steel, the Boomers, the Institute, the Powder Gangers, the Enclave, the Gunners, and the NCR are some of the factions that I mentioned throughout.
The Boomers. Vault 34 to go with the nails. I feel like out of all of these, I'm not gonna read too much, but the Brotherhood sounds pretty cool. I would want to be part of the Brotherhood or the Gunners. Let's see if I regret it. Let's see if I regret
video
it.
Without clarification as to who they are. So here are their descriptions that you can come back to if I mention them throughout this video. And now, let's begin. Located in the South Vegas ruins, Vault 3 is known as a control vault, which meant that the inhabitants were not subjected to any experiments during their time in the vault. Thus, the inhabitants remained sealed for over a century after the bomb.
Oh shit, New Vegas? All right, before we go further, if I was, this is something I love doing with all of my other videos on like Star Wars or whatever. If I was in this, what vault would I pick? Without knowing anything at all, because I don't think any of these people even knew what they were getting into. I would go with, oh God, I'm just gonna throw a number out, okay? Either 5 or 9. Those are the two I would go with. Because if you don't know, those are my favorite numbers. Let's see if I regret it. Let's see if I fucking regret it.
Dropped until a water leak forced the inhabitants to open up the vault so that they could trade with the people of the wasteland in order to survive. All was well for a few weeks until the vault caught the attention of a group of raiders known as the Fiends, who subsequently massacred the vault's residents and claimed the vault for themselves. In Fallout New Vegas, if you head to Vault 3, you will find it fully inhabited by the Fiends, led by their chief, a raider named Motor Runner. Since they took over the vault, the Fiends grew stronger and more vicious, and are considered a deadly threat by the New California Republic and the
Did you say 4? No, 5 and 9. Those are the two vaults I would personally pick. If this was like happening right now and I had to pick a vault, I would go with either 5 or 9. I think I'll start with 9. If I don't get that one, I would go for 5.
people of the Mojave. Vault 4 and Vault 33 both feature in the Fallout TV series. And because it hasn't come out yet at the time of recording, we know very little about them or their experiment, other than the fact that Vault 33 is located in Santa Monica, California, and is inhabited by a vault dweller named Lucy and her father, Overseer Hank.
The fucking series looks so cool. What the hell?
However, if you are watching this after the TV show has come out, then perhaps I'll make a video covering the lore of these vaults, and if that's the case, it will be plugged here. Located in northwestern Nevada, Vault 8 was originally designed as a control vault slated to open after a decade to repopulate the surface. However, due to a mistake made by the US government, Vault 8 received a surplus of water ships intended for Vault 13. The dwellers lived peacefully underground until 2091, when the Enclave's all-clear signal prompted the vault to open. Upon reaching the surface, the residents would use their Garden of Eden creation kit to establish a city powered by nuclear energy supplied by the vault's reactor. This would lead to the creation of Vault City, known for its advanced medical technology such as autodocs capable of performing sophisticated surgeries without the assistance of humans. By 2241, the vault itself was used primarily as storage as well as a medical center for the citizens of Vault City. Vault 11, located in the Mojave Desert, conducted a social experiment where inhabitants were told that they had to sacrifice one vault dweller annually, or else they all would perish. When the vault door was sealed, and the first inhabitants learned about their situation, they were horrified and enraged with the vault's overseer for not telling them before they were trapped inside, thus turning him into Vault 11's very first sacrifice.
Bro, I would be hiding. If I was an 11, bro, I would try and just blend into the background. I would not want to stand out at all. Jesus.
This tradition of sacrificing the overseer would continue as time went on, and each year, the vault would hold an election to determine who would be elected as overseer and consequently killed. This divided the vault.
Yeah, that would divide it, hey. That would fucking divide the vault. Can you pick a different one since we don't know what 5 and 9 are? Oh, okay. Okay. Shit. Okay, in that case, let me think. What one would I pick since we don't know what 5 and 9 are? Double digits? I'm trying to think. I could go like 59. I'm trying to think since 5 and 9 aren't available. Oh, this is difficult. 19? Okay, either 15 or 19. Oh god, am I gonna regret it?
To different political parties known as the Coalition of Vault 11 voting blocks.
Yeah.
Each year they would create voting guides for the vault's residents meant as an impartial source of information for who they should vote for. As time went on, these guides eventually would become a source of voting propaganda as the vault began to experience a power struggle among the blocks. As the coalition gained influence over the years, they became more and more corrupt, and In one year, a woman named Catherine Stone was sexually coerced by a leader of the Justice Bloc so that they would not sacrifice her husband, Nathan. Tragically, Nathan was voted as a sacrifice regardless, leading to Catherine murdering the other members of the Justice Bloc one by one in a fit of rage.
Yeah, I feel like that would happen a lot where somebody doesn't agree with, you know, who gets picked, and then they would lash out. So
rampage
yikes.
consequently resulted in her being voted as the sacrifice for the next year, and thus making her the new overseer. In her first act as overseer, she banned the election in favor of a system where the annual sacrifice would be chosen randomly by the vault's computer. The remaining members of the Justice Bloc, fearful of—
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie. That would terrify me if it was just like randomly picking, because my whole plan would have been to hide in the background. To be so useful yet useless that people don't pick me. But if it's like randomly picked by a computer, I'm telling you, my luck is so bad, I would get picked. So that terrifies me.
losing their power, staged an armed coup, which resulted in the massacre of most of the vault's residents, leaving only 5 dwellers alive. These 5, horrified at the events that had taken place, mutually decided to end the cycle of killing and refused to sacrifice any more people. They were then presented with an automated message congratulating them for breaking the cycle and not murdering anyone, revealing the whole experiment was a ruse. The computer then unlocked the vault's main entrance, allowing the dwellers to leave as they pleased.
What? So all of those people, everything was for no reason? It was an experiment? All they had to do was refuse? Dude, are you kidding? Oh my god. Holy fuck. Just a prank, bro. Yeah, and that's the prank. Oh, that would fuck with me so hard.
Shocked and disgusted with what they had done, 4 of the 5 dwellers decided to end their own lives out of guilt for their actions. The remaining survivor—
Yeah, I mean, that fucking makes sense. If I was responsible for killing people and I found out it was all for nothing, I don't know how I'd live with myself, so—
presumably left the vault, never to be seen again. By 2281, the vault remains empty, only inhabited by its robot personnel, as well as terminal entries and holotapes detailing the horrible events that had taken place inside. Vault 12, located in Bakersfield, California, was intended as a medical experiment studying the effects of gradual radiation exposure, in which the vault door was designed to not seal correctly when the bombs dropped. This resulted in the vault's population turning into ghouls. In the year 2083, the survivors would leave the vault and turn the surrounding area into the city of Necropolis. By the time of Fallout 1, the vault is still inhabited by a number of glowing ones who act as guards for the vault's water chip if you attempt to steal it. Vault 13, located in the mountains of Southern California, was intended to keep its residents isolated from the outside world until one day, a water chip malfunction led to the Overseer to send a handful of vault residents out into the wasteland to search for a replacement. The first dweller, a man named Ed, barely made it out of the vault before being killed by rats. The second dweller, a man named Talius, was captured by Nightkin and turned into an FEV mutant, and now resides in the Boneyard as a member of the Followers of the Apocalypse. The third, your player character in Fallout 1, would succeed in replacing Vault 13's water chip in the year 2161 after a long and harrowing journey throughout the wasteland. Despite fulfilling his task, as well as saving the vault from the Master's army of supermutants, the Vault Dweller was banished by the Overseer, as he felt that his adventures in the wasteland would lead the Vault's population to abandon their home. This would lead to the Vault Dweller leaving Vault 13 and founding the settlement of Arroyo. After the residents of Vault 13 learned of the Overseer's decision, they sentenced him to death, allowing those—
Yeah, because that's just fucked up. What? The guy that literally saved everything got kicked out? What the fuck?
those who wished to leave the vault to do so. The remaining dwellers would live peacefully in the vault until 2241, when they were captured or killed by the Enclave, who left behind a pack of intelligent Deathclaws to guard the vault. The vault was then found by the Vault Dweller's grandson, the Chosen One, who was there on a mission to retrieve the vault's Gek in order to save the previously mentioned village of Arroyo. Once he retrieves the Gek, Frank Horrigan and a squad of Enclave soldiers exterminate the Deathclaws, leaving Vault 13 an empty hole in the ground. Vault 15 located—
Maybe this sounds bad, right? But if I were to go into a vault, I would try and make like a emergency hiding spot for myself. Like, not that I'll be able to write, not that I'll be able to do much, but I would try and make a spot where I can just hide. It's yours. Oh my god, it's mine!
In Southern California was a social experiment in which a large population from diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds were forced to live together. This would cause a schism among the dwellers, which would lead to them abandoning the vault, separating into 3 raider groups. the Khans, the Jackals, and the Vipers. The
Ooh, okay. Out of those three, which one would I pick? Because this is my vault. This is one of mine, at least. Viper sounds cool.
remaining inhabitants who opted to not become raiders fled west and established the settlement of Shady Sands. By 2161, the vault was abandoned and only inhabited by a family of rad scorpions. As the years went on, Vault 15 remained abandoned due to disputes over excavation rights. Various factions, including the New California Republic, raiders, and scavengers, all clashed over control. In the early 2240s, the NCR sought to reclaim the vault's computer parts, but were stopped by a group of squatters living on the surface of the vault. These squatters were secretly harboring a group of raiders known as the New Khans, who they believed were restoring the vault. However, the truth was that the New Khans were just using the squatters as a smokescreen to hide from the NCR. The situation was resolved after Tandy, the president of the NCR, hired the Chosen One to broker a deal between the NCR and the squatters. In exchange for retrieving the computer parts, the squatters agreed to join the NCR, receiving education and essential supplies, while Vault 15 became the property of the NCR. Vault 17 is a vault that we do not know much about.
Well, at least like 15 wasn't as bad as some of the others. So I'm pretty happy with the 15 choice. I want to see what 19 would be though.
However, what we do know is that its inhabitants were kidnapped and transformed into supermutants by the Master. Among
like that one. like this one.
Those inhabitants lived a 75-year-old grandma named Lily Bowen. After being exposed to the Force Evolutionary Virus by the Master's army, Lily was turned into a Nightkin and can be found in Jacobstown in Fallout New Vegas, where she can be recruited as a companion. Vault 19, located in the Mojave Desert, was intended as a social experiment studying the effects of
Oh god, why am I in 2 social experiment vaults, bro? Holy.
Factionalism and how it induced paranoia and mistrust among its
residents. God, no, not the paranoia and mistrust. I already have that. Of course. This is my vault. Of course I pick this and the other social experiment one. Oh my god. All right, what's my fate?
During this experiment, residents were divided into blue and red sectors and
I would take blue. That's my favorite color.
Subjected to a series of manipulation tactics.
Oh no, I'm screwed.
Turn the two sections against each other. Journal entries found inside the vault indicate high levels of paranoia, such as blaming the other factions for the vault's malfunctions, as well as reports of feeling unusual drafts from the air vents, seeing blinking patterns in the lights that mimicked code, as well as a child reporting hearing high-pitched noises coming from his vault terminal, which was perhaps a form of subliminal messaging. Little did they know that this was all being orchestrated by the overseers, as well as the vault doctors, who may have been drugging the residents, leading some to experience—
Oh, fuck. Oh, I'm fucked. Imagine it does the opposite to you. You're less paranoid and more trusting. Already going into the vault mentally ill, bro. Already going in. Mental illness, medicated. I'm like, wow, this actually cured me. Why?
It's fits of aggression and psychosis. By the time of Fallout New Vegas, the vault had been taken over by powder gangers after they found the place abandoned, leaving the fate of the vault's residents unknown. Vault 21, located on the New Vegas—
See, the fate is unknown, so I'd like to assume that my team, the blue team, found a way out and fucked off. I love to assume that that's what we did, but oh, I'm so cooked. At least it's not 29. Ooh.
Vegas Strip housed an experiment which focused on the effects of excessive gambling. When the bombs dropped, 200 years would pass, and the vault's residents would develop a stable community which solved its problems through gambling. Eventually—
I should have been in this vault. I should have been in the gambling vault. Are you kidding?
In the year 2274, Robert House, the ruler of the New Vegas Strip, proposed a game of blackjack, where if he won, he would become the owner of the vault. Some of the vault's residents were skeptical and favored isolationism. However, others were in favor of opening the vault up. As a result, Mr. House tasked the residents in favor of opening up the vault to challenge those who disagreed to a game of blackjack in order to decide what to do. Eventually, the dwellers in favor of opening up won the game, handing over the ownership of Vault 21 to Mr. House. Afterwards, Mr. House unexpectedly attempted to fill the vault with concrete in order to force the residents to move out of Vegas. However, one of the dwellers, Sarah, was able to convince him to turn the vault into a hotel. Convinced of its profitability, Mr. House transformed the vault into a hotel, and by 2281, the vault was still open for business, offering residents of New Vegas room and board as long as they had the caps. Vault 22, located in the Mojave Desert.
That's fucking sick. Are you kidding? They got gambling and it got turned into a hotel. I'm pretty happy with that outcome. I should have been in that vault.
Desert was intended as a research facility which tested genetically modified crops that were developed at Big Mountain, a think tank known for its unorthodox experiments. After the bombs dropped and the scientists began experimenting on the crops, they accidentally released an outbreak of a modified fungal infection which would lead to the vault being overrun with vegetation. The vault's residents all would eventually succumb to the infection, as the fungus they were experimenting on would colonize their bodies and use
at first I was like, this looks so peaceful. Like, this is so chill. Never mind.
them as hosts, turning them into horrifying creatures known as spore carriers. Located somewhere on the west coast of the United States, Vault 29 was intended to house a population of rich children under the age of 15. The vault would be controlled by a Zax AI supercomputer which would be programmed to raise the children with the aid of robotic helpers. Not much is known about the fate of Vault 29, other than the fact that Harold, a recurring character in the Fallout series, is said to have originated from there. Vault 34, located in the Mojave Desert, hosted an experiment granting its inhabitants unrestricted
You know who would have tried to break into that previous vault. You know who would have tried. Dr. Disrespect!
access to an armory full of weapons and explosives. This would cause a very gun-centric culture within the vault, and seeing the potential for disaster, the Overseer would lock up the vault's armory, and because of this, the residents protested, as they felt that they had the right to their weapons, and thus, the population was divided into two groups. The first group would escape the vault and head north, where they would discover the Nellis Air Force Base and eventually become the Boomers. The remaining dwellers would be trapped inside by the Overseer, leading to a riot that damaged the vault's reactor. This would end up filling the vault with radiation, turning its...
You know what's bad? I would have, like, stayed back. I think I'm the type of person to be like, I'll just stay here, guys. We got this. I'll look after everything here. Oh, God. I think just realizing how many times I'm screwed if this was reality, it's a little bit unsettling, I'm not gonna lie.
Remaining residents into feral ghouls. As of 2281, Vault 34 is nothing more than a ghoul-infested, irradiated hole in the ground stocked with all the weaponry that one could need. Not much is known about Vault 43, as it was featured only in the Fallout comic titled One Man and a Crate of Puppets. All that is known about the vault is that its inhabitants consisted of 20 men, 10 women, and a panther. Vault 51, located in the forests of Appalachia, conducted an experiment in which a Zax 1.3C supercomputer would test the vault's residents in order to determine who is best fit for the role of Overseer. The computer was primarily taught by a man named Sergeant Robert Baker, who would advise the computer on what made the best leader. As time went on, Baker attempted 2 separate times to hold an election. But when no one could decide on a leader, the computer deemed elections pointless and would forego this method of selecting the Overseer. Baker would then commune with the AI, telling it that a leader was someone who stepped up in times of crises. The AI would misinterpret this message and begin to produce a series of crises for the dwellers in order to see who was most fit to lead.
Oh, they fucking used ChatGPT for the vault, bro. And you know what's crazy? I feel like if this was actually happening, they would use ChatGPT for the fucking vault. There would be a vault for ChatGPT and then Grok, or however you say it. Bro, as fucking Siri vault as well. We got Alexa going too, bro. I'm telling you, this would actually happen. Someone would make a ChatGPT vault.
These crises included, but are not limited to, changing the rules of a talent show halfway through to make it so that the losers would be forced to move out of their bedrooms and into bunk beds, making the dwellers compete in rigged casino games, engineering a food shortage, convincing the dwellers that houseflies were infesting the vault, blaring the vault alarms while the residents were sleeping, switching their coffee with decaf, and manipulating...
nah, that's it. That's too far. Switching the coffee with decaf? Oh, nah, I'm walking out, bro. Radiation can get me. I am not having decaf coffee. It's like vegan meat. No! I'm going out and dying at that point. Oh my god.
Dwellers into cheating on their significant others. These events ultimately manipulated the remaining inhabitants to turn against each other, leading to multiple deaths. One day, after the body of a dweller named Helen was found, the vault residents began to frenzy. This led to the dwellers massacring each other, leaving only one survivor alive. a man named
shit.
Reuben Gill. Since he was the only dweller left, he was named Overseer and would stay isolated with the Zax's AI for years. This
honestly, dude, like I know isolation sounds bad, right? But like, holy peace and quiet, I wouldn't mind. I'll be scared of people breaking into the vault, if anything. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, being alone in a vault. That's fucking chef's kiss. Yeah, leave me alone.
would change when Reuben found out about the opening of Vault 76. Seeking a way to escape, Reuben would hack into the vault's inventory system and place himself inside a shipping crate, allowing him to leave undetected when the crate was removed from the vault. His plan was to find someone from Vault 76 to help him defeat the Zax's AI, and he was actually successful in making contact with one of the dwellers, but he ultimately died before he could return to Vault 51.
Oh, no.
Currently, the vault is abandoned, and its only inhabitants are some scorched who wandered inside. Located in a cave underneath a shack southwest of Lewisburg, West Virginia, Vault 63 remains sealed and has yet to have any lore on what its purpose was, as it remains inaccessible to Fallout 76 players. However, this may change in a future update. Not much is known about Vault 69, as it's only featured in the previous—
I'm so sorry, bro. 69. I wish we knew more about it. Like all of the funny number vaults, I wish we knew more about them.
mentioned Fallout comic titled One Man and a Crate of Puppets. All we know about Vault 69 is that it held 999 women and 1 man.
Of course it's Vault 69. Of course it's Vault 69 that had 1 guy and 999 women, bro. Of course. I don't know how his dick didn't fall out. Fall out? Like the game? Like the sea? Oh my god, everything makes sense. Everything makes sense.
75, located at Malden Middle School, north of Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's your vault. You want to be in a vault with 999 women, with you being the only guy?
Did a social and medical experiment centered on a eugenics program to create the perfect soldiers from young children. When the bombs dropped, all the children's adult relatives would be executed, marking the beginning of the experiment. The kids were taught to fear the horrors of the outside world, and were trained to be fit, brave, and intelligent enough to venture out into the wastelands to help the remaining population above ground. Years later, when the children turned 18 and they graduated the program, the smart but weak kids would be made into scientists. The strong and smart were harvested for their organs, and the rest would simply be executed.
What? Strong and smart were harvested for their organs? I thought they would be like the ones that go out.
Eventually, the vault was opened, and the remaining dwellers presumably headed out into the wasteland, abandoning the vault. By 2287, the vault is filled with gunners who repurposed it into one of their headquarters in the Commonwealth. Vault 76, a control vault located north of Flatwoods, West Virginia, was built to house 500 occupants and was scheduled to open 20 years after the Great War in order to rebuild and repopulate the wasteland on a special date known as Reclamation Day. The occupants included students from Vault-Tec University, military members, and even former White House Chief of Staff. Occupants were provided with fully furnished apartments, including a bedroom, living room, bathroom, and color television.
Okay, what's the catch though? I feel like this is too good. What's the catch?
And overall seemed like a great place to live. 25 years after the bombs dropped, the residents were given the all clear, and the vault opened, to which they proceeded to head out into the wasteland with the goal of recolonizing the surrounding region of Appalachia. Vault 77 housed 1 man and a crate of puppets.
Wait, that's it? Was there no catch with 76? Cause that's so good, but like, I don't know if I trust it. Like, they got there happily ever after? Well,
The puppet man, as he was known, would unknowingly enter the vault as its only residence and be locked inside. As he slowly went insane due to isolation, he became engrossed with the puppets, believing them to be real people and hallucinating interactions between them. One day, the man found the king puppet murdered, to which he then accused the puppet.
The schizo vault, bro. The catch is you have to play Fallout 76. 76 was a control bunker. So I'd like the control bunker filled with, you know, important people, like from the government, like they said. So they're technically just like safe. They're safe, they chill, they have it They have it easy. Some vaults were actually about preserving humanity and were good vaults. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. The Eep vault. Yeah, this one's mine, guys. Get out. Leave me alone.
Boy puppet of being the culprit. To the man's surprise, the vault boy revealed to him that they were both the ones who killed the king. Scared of what might happen if the other puppets found out, the vault boy convinced the man that they needed to leave the vault, which they eventually did. During their travels, they would encounter a giant mutated scorpion, a ghoulified vault dweller, as well as a giant ant, which the man named Mr. Pinch. The pair would eventually be captured by some wastelanders who planned to either enslave the man or eat him. He warned his captors that his puppet was dangerous and that he had killed before in a plea to let them go. After they shrugged him off as simply being delusional, the man would murder one of his captors, leaving one alive to lead him to the rest of his group. After the survivor had made it to the rest of his gang, he told them that the puppet man had murdered Bob, the other slaver. The men began to hear a noise as the puppet man got closer and closer to the gang. We then see in the final panel that the puppet man had murdered the gang with his bare hands, thus finalizing his descent into madness. In Fallout 3,
I mean, what the fuck? That's holy shit.
If you head to Paradise Falls, a settlement full of slavers, you can find a Vault 77 jumpsuit hidden alongside a holotape. This holotape contains a recording of one of the slavers ordering the listener to burn the jumpsuit out of fear that the puppet man may come looking for it. Vault 79, built in secret by Vault-Tec north of Dolly Sods Wilderness, West Virginia, was meant to house 120 high-ranking soldiers and government agents tasked with protecting the nation's gold reserves with the intent of rebuilding the economy after the Great War. The Vault's number was chosen due to the fact that 79 is the atomic number for gold. In July 2072, secrecy surrounding the vault was compromised when soldiers guarding the site stole millions of dollars worth of gold and ventured to Las Vegas to gamble.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You have vaults where like people are being turned into monsters, right? Where people are being psychologically tortured, and then you have this vault where they just took everything and went to gamble in Las Vegas.
Their actions led to a confrontation at the Ultralux Casino, resulting in a shootout with local police. Despite attempts to surrender, all those involved were executed. In 2077, when the bombs finally dropped, the vault was sealed, to which inhabitants awaited further instructions from the US government. However, at some point after the war, a mutiny led by a rogue Secret Service agent named Shorty resulted in a number of deaths among the vault's population. The survivors remained inside the vault, isolated and depressed, with at least 3 agents taking their own lives. On the surface, rumors of the vault's gold attracted treasure hunters, who hire your player character to help them commit a heist on Vault 79. Vault 81, built in Boston, Massachusetts, was intended to—
The house always wins. All on red. All on red, bro.
host an experiment in which scientists would use the vault civilians as guinea pigs to develop a universal cure for disease.
Yeah, see, you got experimentation happening, and the last vault was just like, guys, we're just gonna take this and go gamble. Thanks, though. Good luck, everyone. It's so fucking funny, dude. It's I fucking love it.
The vault was designed so that the scientists would be separated into a secret sector unbeknownst to the residents, where they could monitor and experiment on the population. When the vault closed, before the scientists could begin their experiments, they were betrayed by the overseer, who locked them inside the secret sector of the vault. The scientists would eventually perish, leaving only a single Mr. Handy named Curie. As for the residents of Vault 81, they would maintain a peaceful society. And as of 2287, the vault continues to thrive as it has managed to establish trade relations with the surface.
Oh, that's nice. What the hell? That's actually such a good vault.
Continuously prolonging its residents' survival, unaware of the vault's secret experiment. Vault 87, built in northeastern Virginia, was a research facility experimenting with the forced evolutionary virus, transforming its civilian population into super mutants, centaurs, and other mutated abominations. However, these super mutants escaped containment, and they seized control of the vault only 1 year after it was closed. By 2277, the vault is overrun with super mutants. However, one of these mutants, named Fox, managed to retain his intelligence, and if you manage to free him, then he could be recruited as a companion.
Oh, that's sick. What?
Vault 88, located in Quincy, Massachusetts, was intended as a testing ground for experimental productivity-boosting technology for other vaults, but was left unfinished. And when the bombs dropped, it turned the overseer into a ghoul. In 2287, she is saved from raiders attempting to break into the vault by your player character in Fallout 4. Upon speaking with her, she tasks you with helping her rebuild the vault, making it a potential settlement for the player character to enjoy. Vault 92, located in Olney, Maryland in the Capital Wasteland, was led by Overseer Richard Rubin and promised to preserve the musically talented of the US population. However—
Holy shit! So anyone that's musically talented is in there, bro. You got Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj. Goated, what? Did they do concerts?
The vault's true purpose was to conduct a medical experiment using white noise to implant combat suggestions within the minds of the residents. Despite initial success, the residents began exhibiting psychotic behavior, leading to multiple deaths. To make things worse, the vault structure was decaying as water began leaking into the vault, causing flooding. As the insanity spread, one of the Vault-Tec employees, Professor Malleus, pleaded with Rubin to end the experiment, to which the Overseer refused. It is implied in an audio log that
you should have waited. Yeah, I thought it was a vault where people were like throwing concerts, having fun, you know, musically talented individuals hanging out, dropping diss tracks. Whoops.
Malleus then planned on making the Overseer pay for his crimes, but no follow-up is provided. As the vault fell into further chaos, eventually it succumbed to flooding, allowing Mirelurks to infest the area, presumably finishing off any remaining survivors, and turning Vault 92 into their new habitat. Vault 94, located in northeastern West Virginia, was advertised as a place where residents were tasked with preserving the natural environment surrounding the vault. However, its true experiment was to test how a non-violent religious community would adapt to interacting with the outside world after the Great War. The community was run by a woman named Gabrielle Salvar, and she made it so that the vault's decisions were made by a council rather than one overseer. The experiment would be overseen by a sole Vault-Tec employee named Tyrone Hayes, who was instructed to monitor the population as time went on. When the bombs fell, the community was driven to the vault by two separate buses. The first bus was able to get their passengers inside. However, the second bus was too late, and their members were locked outside the vault as the door was hardwired shut. After the vault door was sealed, the vault remained peaceful until Salvar convinced the community to open their doors back up on October 23, 2078, exactly 1 year after the Great War. The community would send multiple ambassadors into the wasteland until one would come across the town of Harper's Ferry. The ambassador would attempt to bring survivors back to his home by telling them that they had a farm outside of the vault that could feed the entire town. The mayor, a woman named Maria Collins, suspicious of the dwellers' claims, would send a group of townsfolk to investigate the vault. The group would be invited inside the vault, where they began to feel on edge about the community's inviting nature. They would eventually succumb to their paranoia and would massacre the vault council as well as any remaining survivors from the community.
Yeah, I don't know why you would want to open your shit up that early. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't personally do that. It's just like too risky.
After their massacre concluded, they would find the vault's Gek. Mistaking it for a mind control device, they began to open fire on it. This resulted in a level 6 nuclear explosion, which would cause the radiation in the area to surge. This led to the organisms within the affected area to mutate, as well as a thick fog to pour from the vault's entrance, which would rapidly
So that vault was actually a good one, but it got fucked up because of the people.
Intensify the area's swampy environment. This event would then transform the surrounding area into what we now know as the Mire. Vault 95, located southeast of Natick, Massachusetts, was an experiment which had chem addicts undergoing experimental rehabilitation for their addictions. After the bombs dropped, the program would go on for several years and would prove successful in getting the dwellers to kick their addictions.
I mean, at least that's good. They got all of the fucking local addicts in one place.
This was until a Vault-Tec agent masquerading as a fellow resident opened a stash of drugs hidden within the vault while the population slept.
He found the stash! He found the fat bro. Oh, God.
The next morning, when the supply was discovered by the residents, chaos ensued, leading to violence among the dwellers, as well as some to succumb to their urges, while others maintain their commitment to sobriety. It is not known what happened to the residents following this instance, as by the year 2287, the vault was completely occupied by gunners, who repurposed the vault into a stronghold for them to operate out of. Vault 96, located south of Spruce Knob Campground, West Virginia, was advertised as a vault designed to monitor the damage done to the local fauna after the bombs dropped. However, once it was sealed, the scientists within were shocked to discover that the vault's true purpose was to conduct unethical experiments on mutated animals cryogenically frozen inside the vault in order to find a way to counteract their mutations. They were forced to maintain a weekly quota of data by the vault's mainframe that, if not met, would result in their demise. The vault's planned duration was set for a minimum of 250 weeks, after which the residents would be exterminated, apart from the
Bro, holy! I love how there's some vaults that are just so peaceful, and the other ones are just pure demonic, bro. What the fuck?
Who would be permitted to leave. The scientists would conduct these experiments on their diverse supply of cryogenically frozen animals, including a mysterious entity known as X001. By week 146, one of the scientists failed to meet their quota due to a lack of access to specimen X001, leading to her demise at the hands of the mainframe. Blaming the overseer, a man named Eric, the team confronted him, only to discover that he was orchestrating an escape plan which involved infecting the mainframe with a virus in order for them to flee. Although the plan initially succeeded, the mainframe activated superseding Protocol Omega, causing the residents' deaths. Despite this, the virus successfully shut down the mainframe, leaving the vault open, prompting animals to escape and triggering the emergency management system to call for assistance. In the year 2104,
That's fucking horrifying, dude. That is actually fucking horrifying.
The vault was taken over by a scientist named Edgar Blackburn, who used its research equipment to attempt to create an improved strand of FEV in order to help humanity adapt to the wasteland. He would do this by hiring a group of mercenaries known as the Hellcat Company in order to guard Vault 96 and abduct unsuspecting dwellers for him to experiment on. Vault 101, located west of Spring...
I had to sneeze, I'm sorry. I was making a stupid face for like the past 5 minutes, trying not to sneeze and then trying to sneeze, and nothing was working. Oh man, I'm so glad I got that out. Holy shit. Alright, I can react properly again.
Vale, Virginia, held a social experiment which studied the role of the Overseer in a vault that was never intended to open. After the Great War, the residents remained isolated, as the Overseer fabricated an illusion of the outside world being uninhabitable, fostering the belief that survival solely existed within the vault. This continued for years until one Overseer elected to break the cycle of isolationism and sent an expedition team out into the wasteland.
If I learned anything, it's that if you stay inside, you get fucked. But if you go outside, you also get fucked. I think this time, I'll leave with the team.
When they returned, they would analyze samples taken from the wasteland that the team collected. This would lead to 2 team members, Lewis and Agnes Taylor, to be sent to Megaton for further exploration and contact between the 2 settlements. Eventually, Agnes would return to Vault 101 around 2258, and the Overseer would vanish after a failed expedition into the capital wasteland. Eventually, a new Overseer named Alphonse Almodovar would seek to return to the ways of isolationism and seal the vault once more. Until one day, a man named James came to the vault seeking shelter, offering his services as a doctor in exchange for the safety of him and his infant child. The Overseer would let them in, and James would keep his child in the dark about their origins in the wasteland because of his agreement with Alphonse, convincing your player character that they were born in the vault. The Overseer would continue his regime of isolationism with only one woman managing to escape the vault. Eventually,
let's go.
2270.
That's me. I'm the woman that escaped. Nah, I'm too pussy to do that, bro. I would probably still be in the vault getting murdered.
A rat roach infestation sparked chaos in Vault 101, enabling James to escape. This caused even further turmoil, leading to several deaths. After the Overseer orders the killing of multiple people, including the Lone Wanderer, you escape into the wasteland, fleeing from the Overseer's wrath. While your player character leaves to find your father, the Vault 101 Overseer increases security measures, causing division among the dwellers who realize the possibility of a life on the outside. As tensions rose, Amada, the Overseer's daughter, would send out a broadcast frequency seeking the return of the player to help resolve the situation, leaving the fate of Vault 101 in the hands.
Wait, you can get a dog? Is the player you play as in Fallout 3? That's fucking sick. That's actually sick. But you get a puppy dog, bro. That's so cute. Oh, dude, I couldn't handle it if they had like animals with them that die. I don't know how I'll handle the show, if I'm honest, or the games. Oh, dude, that would fuck with me.
The Lone Wanderer. Vault 106, located southeast of Arefu, conducted an experiment in which the air filtration system was contaminated with psychoactive drugs 10 days after the vault door closed. This experiment was known by the Overseer and the vault staff, and they were each instructed to keep this a secret from the dwellers. As time went on, the effects of the drugs began to take their toll on the dwellers, as they began to show more and more signs of aggressive behavior.
Yeah, this one's gonna be fucked. You can get pet mutants as well? Fallout 4 had dog meat? No! I'm starving! I'm not eating dog meat! I am starving!
Prompting the Overseer to order a lockdown. However, the deranged residents eventually overwhelmed Vault security and brutally murdered them as well as the Overseer. Years later in Fallout...
Dog meat is the dog's name in Fallout 4. Oh my god! I was like, I am not eating dog meat, bro. That's the name. That is an unfortunate name, bro. That is, oh my god, who the fuck names their dog dog meat? The German Shepherd. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's so diabolical. Fine.
Fallout 3, you can find the vault inhabited by insane survivors who have all descended into madness due to years of breathing in psychoactive drugs. As you explore the vault, your character actually begins to see hallucinations of characters from their past, such as Amada, the Tunnel Snakes, and your father. Vault 108, located north of Washington, D.C., had an abundance of problems. The vault was designed to house 475 people for only 38 years, the power supply was set to fail after 20 years, and the overseer was set to die after only 3 years due to a rare type of cancer.
Oh my god. Bro, the doomed vault. What the fuck?
The experiment also deliberately left standard positions vacant, as well as providing the residents with no entertainment tapes. Basically, this vault sucked ass. However, in addition to these...
Yeah, this vault sucked ass, bro. Imagine picking this vault and you're known as the vault that sucked ass. What vault were you part of? The one that sucked ass. Oh. Yeah, that's fucking bad, dude. Like, mine experimented on the civilians inside. But I am so grateful I wasn't part of the one that sucked ass. Holy shit, bro. That is, oh. Yeah, I got turned into a fucking mutant, but at least I wasn't part of your vault. Holy shit.
Failures, the vault came equipped with a cloning lab. After the vault sealed, cloning experiments would be conducted which produced 53 clones of a man named Gary. Each clone...
Oh, not 53 Garys.
iteration of Gary exhibited hostility towards non-clones, escalating with each replication. Subsequent clones became increasingly violent, leading to them eventually purging the vault of its residents.
Gary Vault? Is that what they call it? The vault that sucked ass, aka Gary Vault? Oh god. Oh god.
By 2277, the vault is solely inhabited by clones who are only capable of saying one word.
Gary. Oh my god! Oh my god! It is Gary! Wait, that's so cool! Gary!
Vault 111, located in Sanctuary Hills, Massachusetts, was designed as a medical experiment studying the long-term effects of cryogenic stasis on its unsuspecting residents. Once the vault was sealed, its residents would be told to enter cryostasis pods that were masqueraded as decontamination chambers. Once the residents were frozen, the vault was said to remain sealed for at least 180 days. After 180 days passed,
I wouldn't have minded the EP vault, bro. Like, they put me into EP. It's fine. Maybe. Yeah, I'll take the EP vault. I'll take this one.
There was no all-clear signal, resulting in the Overseer's decision to maintain the vault's sealed status despite dwindling supplies. Following this, a group led by security and support staff rebelled against the Overseer, and in response, the Overseer initiated a lockdown. Unfortunately, the logs abruptly end at this point, and we can presume based on the skeletons scattered throughout the vault, that the staff would soon perish after these events.
Are the people still eeping though?
In 2227, the mysterious organization known as the Institute discovered the vault and found that one of the cryostasis pods inside housed an infant named Sean whose DNA remained untainted by post-war radiation, perfect for their third-generation
god.
Agent Conrad Kellogg and 2 scientists were dispatched to retrieve the infant. However, when they opened the pods to retrieve Sean, one of his parents resisted in their efforts, which led to their tragic murder at the hands of Kellogg.
Oh no.
After 60 years, Sean's other parent, who had witnessed the kidnapping, would be mysteriously released from cryostasis, discovering all the other vault residents deceased due to a life support failure.
Oh fuck. Well, at least it's like, at least I passed in my sleep, bro.
Making them and Sean the sole survivors of Vault 111. Vault 112, located southwest of Washington, D.C., was designed to house 85 people. The vault's unique experiment involved immersing occupants in perpetual virtual reality, overseen by Dr. Stanislav.
Oh no, not the VR chat vault. They had a VR chat vault? Not gonna lie, I might take this one. I might take the VR chat players are in here, bro. Their phantom sense. Their phantom sense is acting up. Oh no, not the VR chat vault. Oh god. Don't throw tomatoes at me.
Braun, creator of the Garden of Eden creation kit. The vault housed a set of virtual reality pods which simulated a utopic suburb known as Tranquility Lane. Unbeknownst to its occupants, once they entered the virtual reality pods, Braun held absolute control over the simulation. Inside the simulation, Braun would take on the form of a little girl named Betty, and he would use his power to turn the vault's residents into his personal playthings, repeatedly murdering them inside the simulation. Each time Braun murdered them, he would wipe their memory and resurrect them within the program, creating a cycle of torture that would go on for...
It's SAO, it fucking is, hey, it fucking is. But what the hell? Chat vault. That's crazy. You got the EP vault and then the VR chat vault, bro. Choose your fighter.
Vault 114, located inside Park Street Station in Boston, Massachusetts, was a social experiment that was advertised as a luxury vault for wealthy members of society. However, in reality, the vault was designed to be cramped and overpopulated in addition to being under the leadership of an overseer with an abundance of mental issues. The vault was nearing completion, with construction underway and a man named Soup Can Harry being selected as overseer. However, the vault was never finished, potentially due to contract fraud and embezzlement. Eventually, after the bombs fell, its construction site was repurposed as a base of operation for Skinny Malone's gang of triggermen. Vault 118, hidden beneath the Cliff's Edge Hotel in Mount Desert Island, Maine, was designed as an exclusive establishment aiming to attract wealthy and influential individuals seeking privilege and luxury.
Oh shit.
The vault's original experiment would involve segregation.
I feel like that would be like the streamer vault. Like all the rich streamers are going into this vault, bro. All of them are in here. And yes, I didn't get invited.
Residents into two groups, an elite class of 10 ultra-rich individuals pampered by robotic staff, and a larger working class populace of 300 confined to cramped conditions.
Partner streamers and then affiliate streamers, bro. Kaisenet Voltathon. His Voltathon, bro. Oh no.
The rich would hold authority over the others, with robotic staff executing their judgments. However, construction on the second wing intended for the working class group ceased due to financial issues. The primary financier, Ezra Parker, stopped funding, citing payment difficulties from the guests. In addition to him, the vault was set to host influential figures such as former Hollywood actors Keith
Kaisenet, bro. Mr. Beast. Welcome to their co-Voltathon.
McKinley and Gilda Brosco, a famous painter named Santiago Avida, as well as Dr. Riggs and his wife Juliana. Dr. Riggs in particular was involved in robotics research, and he was able to convince his fellow residents to consider having their brains inserted into robo-brains so that they could become immortal. They all agreed and went through with the procedure, and when the Great War came and the vault was sealed, the Overseer became the only remaining human amidst the robo-brain residents. Centuries passed, and one day, Ezra Parker, the primary financier of Vault 118, was murdered, leading the residents to seek help from the player.
Did someone throw water at him? Clankers? Yeah. Oh, they broke the brain. Like, bruh, what the hell? Who threw water at him?
Their character in investigating who did it. In Fallout 76, a raider named Bruiser claims that he grew up in a vault somewhere on the East Coast. He claims that he participated in a warlike gladiator sport inside the vault, which based on his description sounds strikingly similar to American football. At some point during his stay in the vault, he left and eventually ended up in Appalachia, West Virginia. Nothing else is known about this vault, as Bruiser doesn't give us a number that we can assign to it, but hopefully it will be explored by the Fallout franchise in an expansion or in a future Fallout title. Alright guys, that was every vault in the Fallout canon.
That was pretty sick. What the hell? I enjoyed that. I do like how fucked some of them are. I like the duality between different vaults, but I just can't get over the Kaisenet vault, bro. That is Vaultathon. That is crazy. But thank you for recommending this. I think I do want to watch the series, but I also have a lot I need to watch, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Fallout 5 taking forever for real. When is it meant to come out? Vault Roulette? Oh, dude, that would be fun to do on stream, eh? You spin the wheel and see what you get. All right, but that was Fallout TV. This video was recorded on twitch.tv/ZeroEves. Follow to catch the streams early and check the description below for all of my links. Oh, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification. Also, we have channel memberships. So, what are you waiting for? I know where you live.